This is The Language of Business, a show to inform and inspire entrepreneurs and anyone thinking about a startup. Hear about strategies that work and strategies that often don't work from people who've been there and done that. Our host is Gregory Stoller, Harvard MBA and Senior Lecturer at Boston University Questrom School of Business. Here's Greg Stoller.
How do you move from being a connector in the field of psychodrama to actually doing training and making money from it? We're on location here in Needham with Carol Bass, and welcome to The Language of Business.
Thank you.
You have single-handedly been responsible for a number of guests on this episode. Why are you so well known?
I don't know if I'd say I'm so well known, but I think I do something that's very unique with psychodrama.
Which is?
Which is I work with people who've got social anxiety, social awkwardness, can't read cues, identify as being on the spectrum at the high functioning level, Asperger's, and I help them communicate better.
Talk to us about Social Dynamix. How did you start it, and how many clients can you support at any one time?
Okay. Well, I started it because I was looking for something that was going to be my next chapter.
Okay.
I am an attorney. I haven't practiced law in a very long time, but I'm an attorney, and I was in-house counsel at one of the major utilities in New England.
After graduating from BU Law.
After graduating from BU Law, and you know BU very well.
Yes.
So I went, after I left and sort of realized this is not quite the right profession for me, I went from being an attorney and sort of searching for, as I said, my next chapter. And then I came upon psychodrama.
Right, but you can't just transition from being an attorney. I know from your background you were a part-time actor at night.
Yes.
How did you then evolve into where we are today?
Okay, so while I was an attorney, I had my night job as well. So as my night job, I did professional improvisational comedy and acting in the whole Boston, New England area. So then I began training in psychodrama. But the interesting thing was, while I was training in psychodrama, which is a long process because you really need to be an expert in the methods to use it effectively.
Do you need to be certified, or is this something that you can self-train?
You can't self-train. You need a trainer. You need to be trained in the method and the whole system of psychodrama, how to do a complete psychodrama from beginning to end.
Sure.
So I went to an organization called AANE, which is the Asperger's Autism Association of New England. And I said, do you want somebody who can teach an improv class to teenagers? And the director at that time said, no, we need a dating group for young adults. So being an improviser, I said, okay, because you always say yes. So I said yes. Well, while I was running that group, I was also training in psychodrama. So what I would do was bring back methods to that group. So I was running a dating group for young adults.
And the dating group was to have them get jobs or actually meet people for romantic involvement?
Well, it was actually to meet people or to practice skills like flirting and things that are very difficult for people who've got that social anxiety piece, who've got that social awkwardness, who can't read cues. It's not that they can't, it's just that they need help in understanding what the other's perspective is.
And how many groups can Social Dynamix currently accommodate?
Well, I can accommodate at least 4 to 5 groups in a day. So the way I work is I work in sections of 5 sessions of a group, and they meet for about an hour and a half. And I run groups for teens, college, parents, couples, and I do, in each group, I use a combination of psychodrama, improvisational play, and I stress how to reach spontaneity, because spontaneity is important.
And that's done within this office? Mm-hmm. And do you have a curriculum that you follow? How do you assess each of the different groups that you're working on?
Well, I do have my own curriculum that I follow. So the first thing I do is I build the group. And what I mean by that is I form a group where the people in the group are trusting, and they feel like they can look across the room and see themselves in the other people in the group, which makes for a much better and effective group.
And what keeps you up at night about the future of Social Dynamix?
So what keeps me up is really how to get my message of who I am and what I do out there. How to tell others that this is a different type of social communications program. That the combination of improvisation, psychodrama, and other techniques that I use really help an individual become more spontaneous.
And you mentioned that this is for people on the spectrum. Help our viewers understand what that means.
Well, my programs are for people on the spectrum, people who have social anxiety, social awkwardness, and really even people who are shy. What I mean by spectrum is that it's the autism spectrum disorder, which is a diagnostic word. So who the people I work with are people who are sort of at the far end, the higher functioning, what used to be called Asperger's.
Sure.
And the reason that I work with those people, though I can work with really anybody, because I teach improvisation, which is play and fun, but it's also how to connect with a group, how to connect with others. But working with people who really have the ability to look at themselves, that's the key. To be able to really look at yourself and to understand how do my actions and my words impact the other.
The scarves that are behind us, what are they used for?
Many things. They're used for placeholders. They're used to designate somebody who is not in the room at the time. So let me show you exactly how they work. All right, so let's say you were wanting to talk to a future employer.
Okay.
All right? And the way we do that is I ask you, Greg, pick a scarf that's going to represent this employer. So go ahead.
Voila.
All right.
So you're making your clients actually better role play for real interactions.
Yes.
And not being able to read the cues and
Yes.
possibly see somebody's body language,
Yes.
which means to move on
Yes.
and to talk about something else.
Right. All of those little clues that a person who's interviewing you needs to know.
And in that vein of reading body language, I see our executive producer in the background, Carol Bass. Thank you for joining us on The Language of Business.
It's not about what you're saying. It's about what you're doing. So it's show me, don't tell me. Don't tell me your story, show me your story. Because if you show me your story, then I can actually work with it. I can see where things go wrong, where things don't work, where the places that we need to tweak. I work with people who are on the autistic spectrum. I work with people who have social anxiety. I work with people who are stuck in however way they're stuck. You know, I mean, there could be so many reasons. You could be stuck because you're scared. You could be stuck because there is something that's going on neurologically. Or you could be stuck just because you're stuck. So that's the sort of the population that I work with. They can't see how their actions, their words really land on other people because they're just not in their shoes. But by doing it in action, by role reversing, those people can actually be in the shoes of the people and understand, oh, so this is how it feels when I'm standing too close. Or, oh, this is what it's like when I just keep going with my idea, my idea, my idea, and I don't let anyone else in. Or, this is how to start a conversation. So many different things that when you're in the role of the person who doesn't understand you, you can teach them to understand you better because now you understand what it is that they're seeing, what they're experiencing from you. So that's why this method is so important and has worked so effectively with people who have those type of neurologic disorders.
Big choices after college, right? Grad school, maybe? Soar from your undergraduate major to a great career in business. Biomedical engineer to healthcare analyst. Health science to clinical systems analyst. Mechanical engineer to solutions engineer. Before you know it, you can have a master's degree in management studies. 9 months and you're in business.
What happens to students with autism after they graduate from high school or college and want to go to work? We're on location here on the south coast of Massachusetts in Fall River with Pam Ferro, the co-founder of the Spectrum Empowerment Project. Welcome to The Language of Business.
Thank you very much.
So talk to us what's happening literally behind us as we speak.
So last year, what started as a small theater group turned into employment opportunities for people with autism. So we, as we were helping students with their idea of participating in theater and acting and singing, really their interest was to be part of what their peers were doing, is graduating from college and employment.
And what college are they graduating from?
Bristol Community College. It's a specialized program called the Gulf Shore Access Program.
Okay.
That was designed for people who had graduated from high school, and many students with autism did not have a diploma.
And what sort of degree do they receive?
So they have a certificate.
which enables them to get a job like any other person who graduates from either high school or college.
Yes.
And what happens to the t-shirts that they are producing?
So when Don Lambert, who was also the co-founder, had asked them, what's your biggest dream? The biggest dream was employment. And so we set out to really consider that anybody can work given the right environment. And so we have private families, weddings, functions that are now ordering the t-shirts. We've had a beautiful community response.
That's wonderful.
To the t-shirt company.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We also saw this morning your students taking part in karate and dance. As you walk through this wonderfully old building, you see a lot of shows like Annie and Camp Rock, etc. Tell us about that aspect of the Spectrum Empowerment Project.
So that's how we started, is that we collaborated with a youth musical theater group. The founder, Kim Macumber, and a board member, Donald Lambert. That's how we met. And I had approached them to ask them if they were interested in really expanding their program for people with autism. And so we actually started as a theater group. But it was really the theater students that were pushing us, beyond theater, of what they really dreamed about was working.
And how do you receive your funding?
The actual business is a for-profit business, the t-shirt business. Yep. And so there's no funding. The employees work. They get paid $12.50 an hour. They work when there's work, and it functions exactly like a for-profit business. Right.
Tell us about the development of Annie, which is currently in production.
So Annie is run by the Youth Musical Theater Group, and so our students can participate in that if they want. It's a big production, both Annie and Newsies, that's happening this weekend. And so we have access to the vocal coach and the dance instructor, which you saw this morning, who also participate in Annie. So it's one big production, mostly run by the Youth Musical Theater Group, but the Spectrum Empowerment students can participate if they choose.
And how many of them are professional actors versus your students?
There's about 100 actors that have been participating in the Youth Musical Theater Group for many years, and we have 12.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And what are your plans for the Spectrum Empowerment Project over, say, the next 6 to 12 months?
So we plan to grow. So right now we have 12 employees, and they're working anywhere from 2 to 12 hours a week. And so our goal is to have every employee work at least 10 hours a week, or more if they're interested.
And we also noticed you have a very vibrant Facebook page.
Yes.
Is that for advertising? Is that to find new students? Tell us how that works out for you, please.
Yes. So the Facebook page allows us to really teach people that anyone can work given the right environment. It also gives us the ability to advertise, where we've had a wonderful community response to our t-shirts and things like our Christmas Eve gift boxes, which have sold out. So it's a wonderful opportunity to advertise, but also to teach.
And what keeps you up at night about the future of your project?
Excitement about how, although there have been some challenges, really they have been few and far between. That this program is something that just flows beautifully. People are working. I mean, it's really exciting to see this. The business is successful.
Pam, that's very inspiring. Congratulations on all of your progress to date.
Thank you very much.
Pam Ferro, the co-founder of the Spectrum Empowerment Project here on the south coast of Massachusetts.
Perfect. Go. Hug yourself. Blue. Red. Stomach. Blue. Hug yourself. Red. Blue. You're unbelievable. Stomach. Red.
Ever dream of being a star in a psychodrama? We're on location at Lesley University in Cambridge with Ed Schreiber, and welcome to the Language of Business.
Thank you.
What is a psychodrama?
Psychodrama is a form of psychotherapy. It takes place in a group. It can take place individually. It's often used as business, training surgeons to be caring about patients. It's a method of creativity, spontaneity, creativity, and empowerment.
So you just got finished teaching the class tonight. And your students were both writing or starring in psychodramas?
All of the above. So psychodrama has a stage. This is the stage. It has actors. It's an improvisational exploration of one's life.
And who are your students?
These are Lesley graduate students.
And what careers are they going to pursue after they graduate?
This is expressive art therapy. So they're all learning to be therapists. And this is a very powerful method. It takes a lot of time to learn. It's a part of the drama therapy program here at Lesley.
And if they become fluent in drama therapy, that will help them be better practitioners? Is that the idea?
If they're fluent in psychodrama, that will help them to be better drama therapists. If they're fluent in drama therapy, they take a person and help them to relive something or to re-explore something that needs to be re-explored through action. Action is more potent than just words. It includes words, but it's moving a person's body and mind in relationship to life itself.
In doing research for this segment, you have a bunch of impressive degrees after your name.
That's right.
How do you keep all the balls in the air?
My teacher was Zerka Moreno. She co-founded this method, so I was privileged to study with her for about 20 years. So her directive was always be creative, be spontaneous, be present, be authentic, live in this moment authentically and presently, and give that full expression.
We're looking at a number of books and a number of ostensibly handouts from your class.
Yeah.
What are these?
These are some of the methods in pictures. The biological view of humanity, of individuals, is that the mind is inside the body. That's been disproven by neuroscience and ancient religions long ago. The body is inside the psyche. The emotional state is inside of us, and it extends out. We can feel one another. We have the ability to have empathy. That's between us. That's what this means.
Okay.
The body, the mind, the relationship systems, all of our relationships with organizations, the past, present, takes place within the culture.
And you use this as an aid during the psychodrama course?
This is what the psychodrama addresses. It addresses the culture in which we're living, the relationship systems, our emotional state, and it's all held in the body.
Okay, let's do one more. What does
Okay.
this refer to?
This is called the encounter symbol. It's a metaphysical, existential symbol that means me and not me. So it's a part of the method that helps us to explore the relationship between me and another. So it's a role reversal. That's a method. That's a part of the method that this represents, where I step into the shoes of someone else. I see the world through their eyes. I see myself through their eyes. And in doing that, I return to myself much more fully human, fully engaged in the human experience. It's a very profound technique.
And one of these books, have these been assigned for outside reading, or do you just reference chapters of them during your class?
Both. So this is a new autobiography, a complete autobiography of Jacob Levy Moreno, who founded psychodrama. This was published this year, 2019, and it's the first time his entire autobiography is complete.
You also mentioned during our pre-interview that you were concerned about the future of the world. Is that the only thing that keeps you up at night about your profession?
If we're paying attention to what's happening in this country, and this country in relationship to the world in relationship to the environment, anyone who's not concerned is really not engaged fully in that process. The fact that we're living through an unprecedented extinction of many, many animals and bees and is taking place as the seas rise, the ice poles melt. It's affecting all of humanity. One of the things that Moreno taught, which I thought is very profound, is that humanity is one organism, really, with different parts that are in fact opposed, aligned, warring against each other. And what happens to any part in this body of humanity will affect the whole of us. What's happening in the environment will affect all of mankind, all of humankind. And so the question comes, what do we do? And what we have to do is find what authentically, what we can authentically do in response to helping, because we're really responsible to care for all of us.
Ed, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ed Schreiber talking about psychodrama on location in Cambridge at Lesley University.
Gaining a master's degree in psychodrama and drama therapy gives a person an edge. In addition to being skilled counselors, skilled psychotherapists, they also have the facility of using the arts, and in this case theater, to promote the kind of change that their clients are asking for.
And action.
Drama therapists and psychodramatists will use the metaphor of theater and also use the tools and the techniques that one might connect or associate with theater to do the work that they do.
I get to play, I get to do theater all the time. Also just the journey and the experience, just seeing that my clients really enjoy it. And that's what's so awesome about expressive therapy, is that clients enjoy what they're doing and they don't even realize that they are healing at the same time.
We use movement and sound and creating dramatic scripts and plays, but it doesn't necessarily require that somebody find the words to talk about the difficult experiences that they've had in their life right away.
The arts are inherently healing. We get to learn about music therapy, art therapy, dance. You're an expressive arts therapist with an emphasis on the drama, psychodrama, but it leaves a lot of opportunity to create who you really are as a therapist.
It's really important that students are able to graduate with what it takes to enter into the job market. They're going to be gaining the skills necessary to be licensed as mental health counselors. They'll also meet the requirements to become a registered drama therapist with the North American Drama Therapy Association. Every student has the opportunity to do 2 field placements. That gives them a chance to get to know what they like to do, who they like to work with, and how they like to work. Drama therapists and psychodramatists work in clinical and community settings, so they might work in private practice or in a hospital, or they might work in a community center or in a school. They work in a wide variety of places using their techniques to facilitate individual and also social change.
Are you a problem solver? Do you see the big picture and the small details? Want to turn big data into big decisions? Take AI to the boardroom. Translate rocket science into the science of business? Build your career at digital speed with a Master of Science in Business Analytics. Be ready for careers like analytics consultant, data science, analytics strategist, data translator, BI analyst, technical business analyst. 10 months and you're in business analytics.
Continuing our coverage here on the south coast of Massachusetts with the Spectrum Empowerment Project, the other co-founder is Don Lambert. Welcome to the Language of Business.
Thank you.
How are you upholding your side of the bargain here?
Well, my function really is the business side of it.
Sure.
So I help out with the theater group, and then we introduced our crew into the theater group. And as I got to know them, their biggest request was employment. They had a hard time finding jobs. I've run 3 or 4 businesses in my life, so
What sorts of businesses?
Right now, I'm a mortgage banker, so I have offices throughout New England. But I've run real estate offices and a ceramic wholesale business, and so the business part of it was easy to me. And the kids they're the perfect employees. They're kind, they're considerate, they're hardworking, they're particular about their work. They just had a hard time finding employment,
Sure.
and it really was the environment of the office that they were working in. So what we've decided is to start a business and to kind of build it around them. They're fine, so we're learning how to run a business with this group of employees.
How do you balance a full-time job of being a mortgage broker with this?
Yeah, that is not easy. There's a lot of nights and weekend work.
For this or for the mortgage side of it?
So I have a full-time job that I do during the day. Pam is here most of the time during the day, and I'll come in 3 or 4 hours a day, but it's a lot of night work and weekend work for me. So I'll come in and we'll structure the sales and the corporate accounts and stuff, and we'll get the workflow done, and then we'll bring the kids in to do the work. So it's a lot of extra hours.
You're paying your employees at $12.50 an hour, which are market wages. Are you selling your T-shirts for market prices as well?
So the T-shirts are, they're priced real competitively. So our goal in the business is not profit.
Sure.
I know it sounds odd for a business, but I mean we're a for-profit corporation. But our real goal is employment. So if we can make T-shirts, employ the kids, and make enough to cover our bills, that's a win on our side.
In the future, as things continue to go well, are you still looking for a cover your cost mentality, or would you try and increase the profitability of the business?
So as we progress, as we grow as a business, and this is really our first year in business. We've just started, so we have the heat press, the process pretty much down now. We've just started with the silk screening. We just purchased an embroidery machine. So we'll be doing some embroidery and some big banners and printing. So as we progress with that, the goal is to operate it more like a regular business. We have, the corporation was set up so that all of the profits are distributed to the employees at the end of the year. So there's no profit for us, me and Pam, we do this, we don't get paid for it. So whatever profit there is made, it's 100% shared between the employees.
And could you take on an unlimited number of employees?
I don't know about unlimited number, but listen, as we bring employees in, each of them come with their own
challenges.
Right. I guess is the word I want. You know, so some are sensitive to smell and touch and noise. So we're learning, and as I'm putting the business together, we're bringing employees in, and we're learning where they fit the best. So it really is now just finding the right seat for the right person. But yeah, as we progress with that, we'll be hiring more people.
Don, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Don Lambert, the co-founder of the Spectrum Empowerment Project, located on the south coast of Massachusetts.
Support for The Language of Business is from Boston University Questrom School of Business. We're also available as a podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get podcasts. Thanks for watching.